Well, I think we've been hearing for the last several hours that Fox had 24 million viewers, a record. So we on the Mark Levin Show want to congratulate Fox on their new record of 24 million viewers, many of whom were fairly disgusted by what they saw. Many of whom were liberals, probably laughing and having a great time. Oh, the missed opportunity. And what do I mean by that? We have some tremendous candidates, incredibly intelligent, who've done magnificent things, who are serious about trying to restore the republic and save the country from a catastrophe after this presidency, this disastrous presidency. And for at least the first full hour or so of this so-called debate, I thought it was a reality TV show. I don't dump on Brett Baer. I think he's the one serious journalist who was there. And I don't know why he didn't have the center chair, but that tells you all you need to know. In many respects, the unseriousness of this, the disrespectfulness to certain candidates who deserved better, disrespectful to we, the audience, and the process. I've been around a long time. I've watched a lot of debates. As you well know, I worked in 2 campaigns. I've never seen anything like this. In many respects, it was a spectacle. 8 more to go. Can only imagine what the so-called liberal news outlets are going to do now. They're going to want to outdo Fox, no question, which has been praised by the New York Times, praised by CNN. I almost feel like there was another agenda going on here, a ratings agenda. The constant hype, push. I didn't mind the first question at all about the third party. We already knew it, though. We already knew the answer. And when and if Donald Trump comes on this program next week, I'm going to continue to bore down on that. That's a serious matter as far as I'm concerned. But that aside, the 5 p.m. debate was actually very professional, very thoughtful, and very useful. And Carly Fiorina came out of it. As I mentioned yesterday, I thought she and Jindal and Santorum and one other I can't remember did quite well, but she clearly hit it out of the park. There was no question about it. But when you have 2 hours and 10 candidates, and a third of the time is spent by the moderators, over a half hour, that means the candidates get 6 or 7 minutes if they're lucky. We're not there to watch the moderators. This isn't about them. Quite frankly, this isn't about Fox. Quite frankly, this isn't about 24 million viewers to show great ratings splashed all over the internet. This is about us and our country. This is a deadly serious matter. Now, I don't expect moderators to be sops, but I don't expect them to be fools either. I mean, I was sitting there shaking my head, and I wasn't the only one. So many issues. I was wondering, before the debate, how are they going to cover all these issues with all these candidates? They had no intention of covering all these issues with all these candidates. First and foremost, it was about the moderators and their network. That's why they took 1/3 of the time. Are they running for something? We have a right to know the position of these candidates on a whole wide variety of issues. That's the purpose of a debate. I was a debater. This isn't a debate. It's a reality show. I don't ever want to hear about the attacks on talk radio again emanating from cable TV. This is the most substantive, intelligent, thoughtful format in communications, in media, period. You can't get away with any of this on talk radio. This creates an atmosphere for the next 8 debates, and the Democrats are loving it. You know who enjoyed this debate the most last night? Barack Obama. Barack Obama. And the contrast between the 5 p.m. and the 9 p.m. debate Eastern Time couldn't be greater. 2 real journalists at the 5 p.m. debate who did a good job, a very good job. A very good job. But we're all here congratulating our friends at Fox. They got their 24 million viewers. Greatest ever non-sport event in history on cable. And, of course, that's what matters. It was written. Every syllable was known in advance. And the minute she asked that question, I said to myself, what the hell is going on here? What the hell is this? What the hell is going on here? They wanted a spectacle. The question itself was a spectacle. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to be misinterpreted. A lot of these liberal blogs, they'll put headlines on, Levin trashes Fox, Levin trashes Kelly, Levin does this. I am telling you what I think. I am not trashing anybody. I am explaining what I saw and giving you my take on it as somebody who is very serious about what's going on in this country, and we have precious few opportunities to present a philosophy, arguments, to make distinctions, to put things in context, and to find the right candidate to run for president of the United States. Is that asking too much? Apparently so. This is why every time the media is rated by you, you detest them. They're lower than Congress. They're lower than the courts. They're lower than the president. And now I have to discuss with you Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell. Why? Because the second question during the debate with 24 million viewers, a record in all of history, was a reality TV question. Well, Mark, Trump's got to answer these questions. I'm not even defending Trump. I'm defending the truth. Well, Mark, he's got to be prepared to answer this question because of the Democrats. Fine, then let the Democrats ask it. We're trying to sort through the Republicans to determine who we want to nominate to take on the Democrats. We don't need everybody mimicking the Democrats. Ask some questions that are pertinent to we the people. Constitutional conservatives, independents, Republicans. It's the Republican primary, after all. Ask some questions relevant to us. And what is this abortion stuff? Every one of them getting hammered, because they're pro-life. Let me suggest that when a moderator, quote-unquote, has an agenda, he or she should try and at least conceal it somewhat. But don't worry, 24 million viewers. Woo. Wow, that's just cool. Now, to be fair and balanced on this program, since that second question to Trump really, from my perspective, virtually destroyed the entire nature of this debate and turned it in so much reality TV, the first hour was just disastrous from my point of perspective anyway. Many of you may disagree. What was it that Rosie O'Donnell did or said? And why didn't the moderator present that information or put it in some form of context when she asked the question? All we heard are cherry-picked nasty words. Don't get me wrong, words I wouldn't use to describe a woman, but still, cherry-pick these words. We didn't know the context. Most of us don't watch The View. We don't know what the hell's going on. But we know Trump said these words about a woman or women. So here I've had to spend over 40 minutes of my program in the first hour dealing with this, addressing this. I am still stunned by this, where we have accomplished men on the stage, 10 of them, governors, former governors, senators, who are vying to be the Republican nominee for president of the United States. We're facing enemies all around us, the Islamo-Nazis in Tehran. Imagine if I ran for president, what they'd be running. The Islamo-Nazis in Tehran, the Red Chinese on the rise, the Russians on the move. They just attacked the Pentagon. Cyber war. The economy is lousy. By the way, Megan, I'm going to show you your war on women. And by the way, the women I were sitting with yesterday were not very happy with you. I'm just saying. Each one of them said, you don't represent them. Why do you claim to defend them? This isn't personal. I'm not accusing people of things. I'm not taking things out of context. I'm challenging. Up on the Drudge Report, among other things, record 56,209,000 women are not working. A record. Obama is waging a war on women. Liberals are waging a war on women. Democrats are waging a war on women. This is their economy. This is their government. These are their policies. Wouldn't it have been nice if this was discussed? More. Ready for this one? 100% of the jobs that women hold, female employment gains, since 2007, by foreigners. Let me repeat that. 100% female employment gains taken by foreigners since 2007. That sounds like a war on American women. Not one question related to this. Instead, we have to hear about stuff that's cherry-picked out of season 6 of The Apprentice, stuff that's cherry-picked from The View, and Trump's battle with Rosie O'Donnell. And I'm shaking my head watching this and saying, what the hell is this? But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. 24 million viewers. That is a record for cable TV in a non-sporting event. Congratulations. I know most of you are angry as hell. I know you are. You've been writing. You've been posting on my Facebook and Twitter accounts. I know you're furious. But you better get ready. It's going to get worse because this was the shot heard around the liberal media. And so now they're all going to try and outdo this. Democrats don't have to put up with this. Democrats don't put up with this. Barack Obama has never been questioned like this. We don't know what his grades were. We don't know how he got into college and law school. We don't know a damn thing about him. And yet we're going to hunt down our guys, their Twitter, their Facebook, and so forth and so on. Well, Mark, this is what the left does. I don't give a damn what the left does. We're not the left. Our goal is to destroy the left. Our goal is victory, not to mimic the left, not to be as loathsome as they are. It's a perfect opportunity to allow these guys to express themselves, get into the issues. We're losing our country, for God's sakes. Is it too much to expect a debate to be a debate and not about The Apprentice and Rosie O'Donnell? I am so disappointed. I'm just telling you the truth. It is frustrating as hell. And we're sitting there watching and watching and watching. It's like, well, where the hell did Ted Cruz go? Why don't you ask him a question? And after 40 minutes, they finally ask him a question. But then when you look at the numbers, oh, he had 6 minutes too. Not till the very end. He was asked about God. I mean, how much time was spent on abortion? Like a George Stephanopoulos interview. Now, they know. They have a lawyer on that panel. There's damn little that can be done about abortion in this country, given the Supreme Court's ruling. Unless we amend the Constitution, unless we have a convention of the states, unless we defund Planned Parenthood and so forth. Extremely disappointing in my humble opinion. That's just one man's opinion, and millions of others in his audience. People are working so hard to try and get you substantive information about the candidates, about issues. God knows I spent 12 months running Plunder and Deceit. Weekend after weekend, night after night, gathering the most, I think, persuasive arguments I can to save this republic and the future generation. Can't we at least expect that in a debate format, I'm not talking about talking points and softballs, far from that, but can't we expect an intelligent debate, an intelligent discussion like they had at 5 p.m., at 9 p.m., rather than instigating a food fight? Rather than throwing out gossip without context? It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. All this talk about Trump, why do they think their ratings went through the roof with 24 million viewers? Why do they think? And you know, the opportunity there for these candidates to display their views, their differences, their experiences, I think in many respects was blown. It doesn't mean some of them didn't get through, but they had to fight through it. They had to fight through it. And let me tell you right now, I told you Rubio would do well. He's a good debater. I don't care if you support him or not. That's not what we're talking about. And he did well. Huckabee did well, although his Social Security answer, he sounded like a liberal. Social Security is going to collapse, and something has to be done about it, or it's done. Not for those of you who are on it, but the next group that moves into it. Ted Cruz really didn't have a lot of time in my view. Oh, well, he had 6 minutes. I thought he was one of the most mature on the dais. They're very excited about John Kasich because he gave an answer on same-sex marriage that liberals like. So they, you know, that guy, he's great. And I told you before the debate, I think he and or Christie are their backup to Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush was a big bore. The guy has no passion. Who else? Ben Carson, I thought, was superb. Superb. He has a conversational manner, a non-political, non-practiced conversational manner that to me is very appealing. Scott Walker did a pretty good job. He held his own. Chris Christie, who I am no fan of, did a pretty good job. He held his own. Who's left? Rand Paul. Well, my suggestion to Rand is don't seem so anxious. You seemed way too anxious. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, there's 9 debates. This is the first inning in a 9-inning baseball game. It's early yet. And you know what? A week from now, none of this will be memorable. That's how bad this debate was.